What is up, guys, and welcome back to GameBird Classic. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 Wii games that we need on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Wii is a fairly divisive console for Nintendo. They went with a brand new strategy. They kind of left the core gaming audience behind and left the chase of powerful hardware behind in favor for targeting a more casual audience and introducing non-traditional controls with the Wiimote with motion controls. The Nintendo Wii also had the best eShop music ever. This strategy was extremely successful for Nintendo. It brought in non-gamers like grandparents and aunts and uncles and people who you'd never see in the living room playing video games. But it kind of left behind that core audience, like I said, and a lot of people just don't remember it as fondly as I think they should. Despite what you may think of motion controls, whether or not you wish they'd just go away for good, I'm kind of at that point where I'm like, I'm ready to just move on from that era. I will say this, the Wii had some incredible software on it, a lot of shovelware, but some incredible software that has kind of been forgotten. There's definitely some obvious ones, but there's also some real hidden gems on that console. So that's what we're gonna dig into today. If you guys enjoy this video, hit that like button, really helps me out. Don't forget to smash that subscription button and smash that notification bell so you guys can be notified when I upload brand new Nintendo content. Oh, hey, and check me out on social media. Links to that in the description box below. But without further ado, let's dig right in. Welcome to GameBird Classic. So let's start off this list with what is probably the most obvious pick, and that is Super Mario Galaxy 2. Last year, for Mario's 35th anniversary, we got a 3D All-Stars collection featuring Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, but there was no mention of Galaxy 2 at all in any way in any of the celebration announcements. Not only did Super Mario Galaxy 2 improve on its predecessor in almost every way, it's considered by many to be the greatest 3D Mario game to this day. From gorgeous visuals to incredible level design and beautifully orchestrated music, this game is a masterpiece, and it's one that deserves to shine on the Nintendo Switch, especially for a younger generation who never got to experience this game. That is a tragedy. Next on the list, we have the Metroid Prime Trilogy collection. Not only was this one of the best collections ever made, hands down, but with Metroid Prime 4 on the horizon, this would be the perfect refresh to get fans ready and a great introduction for those who've never played the Metroid Prime games before. With this collection, you got Metroid Prime 3, but you also got Metroid Prime 1 and 2 reworked with pointer controls for motion aiming. This is one of the games that I think actually really benefited from the addition of motion controls. Metroid Prime Trilogy HD has been rumored for some time now. I've predicted it several times on my channel, and I do think it's coming eventually. We have a big anniversary for Metroid this year, and I would love for this to be the big celebration drop, so fingers crossed for this one. Next on the list, we have a hidden gem called Mad World. This game from Sega and Platinum was an absolute blast. Mad World is an ultra-violent beat-em-up that features a gorgeous black and white kind of graphic novel art style using blood as the only real color. In this game, the city has been turned into this deadly game show where you have to fight to survive. The game is filled with insanely violent takedowns, mini games, and boss fights. This is another game that makes great use of motion controls and has some wild finishers in it. With the Nintendo Switch catering to a more mature audience than the Nintendo Wii, I think this game would be a perfect fit. Next up on the list is not only one of my favorite Wii games and favorite Capcom games, but it's also one of the best games that no one ever played. And that game is Zack and Wiki: Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure. Zack and Wiki is essentially a point-and-click adventure game. And if you aren't too into puzzle games, that might sound like a big turnoff for you, but you would definitely be missing out. In fact, you did miss out. This game features a beautiful cel-shaded art style, has tons of charm, but the real stars of this game are the puzzles. Zack and Wiki has brilliant and challenging level and puzzle design that are so rewarding. And this is incorporated into the game's boss fights too, giving you that endorphin rush of accomplishment. Seriously, Capcom, bring this game to the Nintendo Switch. It truly deserves a second chance. Next on the list, we have The Last Story, probably the second biggest JRPG on the Wii, only being beaten out by Xenoblade Chronicles. This game was made by the original creators of Final Fantasy and has fantastic visuals, a cool combat system, and even incorporates some multiplayer elements. Now, The Last Story is a more linear experience. It's played through a series of chapters, but the game definitely makes up for this with strong level design and a really big emphasis on storytelling and character development. Each chapter is replayable, so if you miss anything, you can go back, and the game even has hidden chapters that reward you with special items. Multiplayer is kind of a side thing in this game, but The Last Story does allow up to 6 players to team up online, take on different tasks or different boss challenges. The Switch is a great go-to for RPGs right now, and The Last Story would be right at home in my opinion. Next up, we have Wario Land Shake It. At first, I couldn't quite decide on whether to put this game on the list or to put WarioWare Smooth Move on, but then I decided I'd rather have a brand new WarioWare game built for the Switch using HD Rumble, so Wario Land Shake It is my pick. Now, this is a 2D platformer with a gorgeous hand-drawn art style and beautifully animated cutscenes. Wario Land Shake It has 5 unique worlds with tons of different levels and great level design in there with some really challenging boss fights. One drawback is that the game is on the shorter side, but it adds some extra length through challenges and extra collectibles that completionists will eat up. This game was also the source for a classic Saturday Night Live sketch with Alec Baldwin. It's really funny, check it out, and I would love to see Wario Land shake its way onto the Nintendo Switch. Next on the list, we have Super Paper Mario. I am a massive Paper Mario fan, and still, nothing quite compares to A Thousand Year Door. This is a list for Wii games, and Super Paper Mario is fantastic. This was the first in the series to really depart from the classic Paper Mario mechanics, trading in turn-based RPG combat for an action platformer. The art style is beautiful in Super Paper Mario, like all other games in the series, but this one has a really cool mechanic that allows you to swap between the 2D and 3D world, and this creates some really clever puzzle-solving scenarios. Like other Paper Marios, this game has some great writing and some great humor that's really memorable. Sure, it's no Thousand Year Door, but I'd rank it above the Origami King, so let's hope this game folds its way onto the Switch. Next on the list, we have Red Steel 2. One part first-person shooter, another part action game. This title uses a cel-shaded art style and blends Western themes with samurai themes. The result is awesome. Red Steel 2 was better than the first game in just about every single way. It made use of the Wii Motion Plus and was definitely one of the best games to really take advantage of motion controls. Swapping between sword and gun combat was a blast, and the game was just intense and exhilarating. Red Steel 2 could definitely be challenging at times, but you learn new abilities and became even more dangerous as the game progressed. One problem here is that there wasn't much replay value once you finish the campaign, but it would be really cool to see some form of multiplayer be added if they ever did a Switch version. Next up, we have Dead Space Extraction. This was originally a Wii exclusive and is a prequel to Dead Space 1 and 2, a series that I adore. Dead Space Extraction is an on-rails shooter that's both multiplayer and extremely story-driven. In fact, playing through this game in some ways felt like playing through a movie. It has a super interesting story, really interesting characters, and some great plot twists. There's some cool weapons in here and abilities, and it fills in some of the blanks for Dead Space 1. This game was re-released in HD on the PlayStation 3, but it was missing some of those bonus features from the Wii version. This game would fit perfectly on Switch. Just pass a Joy-Con to a friend and get shooting. Plus, if this game did really well, maybe we'd get a Dead Space 1 and 2 collection on the Switch. How cool would that be? Next on the list is Sin and Punishment Star Successor, a bullet hell shoot 'em up from the same company that brought us Gunstar Heroes and the legendary shoot 'em up Ikaruga. This game is action-packed and tough as hell. Sin and Punishment Star Successor features multiplayer co-op and multiple difficulty options, but will still test your might and your skills even on easy. You'll be zipping through some really awesome levels and tackling some incredibly difficult bosses. There's really not a dull moment in this game. Story aside, this has got to be one of the best action games to ever land on the Wii, and it deserves a rightful place on the Nintendo Switch. So those are the top 10 Wii games that I think we need on the Nintendo Switch, like, right now. Did any games that you guys want not make the cut for my list? Let me know in the comment section below. These were just my 10 picks. You guys could be completely different. I want to know, though, what games from the Wii would you like to see on the Nintendo Switch? I'll catch you all on the next GameBird Classic. Peace. What are you doing? I still have tons more videos that you need to check out right now. You can start with this one or this one. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.